5:15. Welcome. I'd like to call this Parks meeting to order. Can I get a second? We don't need to do a roll call vote.
No, we don't need to vote even.
We don't even need to vote. Great. So first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. Apologies, guys, for not getting the minutes out in the packet. We will be sure that that happens in future months.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So Carolyn, just to note that Sridevi is not here yet. We are expecting her. Okay. Parks usage requests. Is anybody here from Extreme Wrestling? Okay, we're gonna just table that for a minute and go to cheerleading. Actually, I forgot. Veronica requested to be moved up on the agenda because I know she's trying to make it to practice. The Parks usage request form is in your packet, and you'll see notes in the bottom about some scheduling adjustments made to the request. Veronica, can you hear us? Can you maybe unmute?
Yes, we should probably try to promote her to panelist. She just has to unmute herself.
Veronica, can you hear us? Okay. We're gonna wait one more minute. Maybe trying to get in another way.
Yep. We try to promote her.
Why
to
is
panelist.
Denise ready?
I don't know, I'm not that far yet. She declined to be promoted twice.
Okay, Janice, do you have some knowledge of this?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Veronica doesn't even know that I'm on the call, but I'm a cheer mom and they are coming to ask for help because the senior girls cheerleaders for the Southern Berkshire Chargers have a competition on November 9th in Boston, and the rest of the Chargers are over, but the cheerleaders are moving on to competition, and so they have one more cheer experience. They're hoping to just be able to get some indoor space because it's really cold between 5:30 and 7:30 and wet and damp and not necessarily the best environment because the girls really are going to be competing indoors, and it's going to be best if they could just get this time that they need to do indoor cheering.
Thank you so much. I don't know if Veronica has anything to add, but I'll just note the notes in the agenda that Matt and the Hoosie Hoops have confirmed that they will not need the Hoosie Dome on November 1st and 7th. And I spoke to Veronica earlier and shared with her that she cannot use it on the 5th because there is voting at the Hoosie Dome.
She is unmuted.
Thank you. Are
Oh,
you now
yeah.
able to hear me? Thank you.
Yes.
There was
Thank you.
okay, great. There was no button at all, and now it allowed me to. Janice, thank you for joining, and she had it absolutely correct. And I am aware of that one date that we're unable to use it for.
Great. Thank you so much. Are there any questions about this?
Are they up there now?
They are up there now. They received permission between meetings to start this evening.
We will not be using it this evening. We are at the field tonight since our league is actually doing a fun night tonight. So we will start it on Thursday if that's still or is approved.
Great.
I don't understand. I thought basketball used it every night from 5:30 to 8:30 every night. How are they? I don't get it.
So Matt confirmed with me that this is somewhat, well, they aren't in for the October dates. And so when
Who's not in?
the basketball doesn't start,
November 1st.
they start November 1st.
Okay.
So when I spoke to Matt, okay,
And they're just doing their assessment.
So
the
on these
second.
dates here, they're there now,
But no, they're
and
They're
the
not.
24th is Thursday,
correct?
and the 29th is a week from tonight. And the first, they can't use it.
The first they can,
They can.
yes.
They cannot use it on the fifth. Because it's gonna be used for the polls.
Elections.
And then they're gonna use it on the seventh.
That's correct.
My only question is, why was this submitted so late?
Veronica, do you want to answer that? I mean, I'm just, this
Yes.
was, yeah, go for it.
So our league is building, and this year our girls are able to go to Boston, and we just found out that it will be accepted for our team to compete in Boston. And because of how cold it is, we are hoping that they don't have to stay outside for those following weeks versus using Olympia Fields or something else.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this.
Thank you.
Second.
Any more discussion or can we vote on it? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Great. Veronica, you are all set. We will just make a note on the parks usage request not to include the fifth. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Good luck to the girls.
Thank you. I will let them know. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. So Extreme Wrestling, not here. Not here. Cool. Moving on. The Extreme Wrestling is not here too.
If I may,
Yep.
I think last meeting, we talked about it, we tabled it and passed it on to the DRT. The DRT reviewed it, the police, fire, first round both, health board, health, myself, no issues. I called the reference, which was Masonic Temple,
In Pittsfield.
I think in Pittsfield, raving remarks on how good it is. It's a staged show, it's not violent, and the kids love it. They started out one, they were very, concerned about it, for the city of Pittsfield, they required them to have a police officer there. After the first event, the police department waived their need for a police officer. And Chief Story confirmed this with the Pittsfield Police Department, and it's a great thing, they do it 3 to 5 times a year. So nothing's changed in the representation, and maybe you can still vote, I know they're going for the select board for the entertainment license, and they're going to Board of Health, so if you want to act on it, that's up to you guys.
Great. One other thing, which is that this is, we are starting to assess, fees. They're different language, you know.
Yeah, so, you know, as you know, we're trying to do fees, our Berkshire Grove fee is $250 per event, so it's like $1,500. For the season, for the events they have. You have 2 on your agenda, this one here, and I think there's one other that you may want to consider assessing the fee. And the fee is not a rental fee, the fee is to cover our costs for, you know, any preparatory cleaning and follow-up cleaning. We don't want to get into the rental business.
Are they aware that there is a fee?
I don't know if they're aware of that. Can't remember having that conversation with them. But if I may just give you my 2 cents here, it sounds like it's a great thing for kids. They charge $15 a person, so families can afford to go, to cover the cost of bringing these actors in. I'd hate to have something fail because we charged them a fee, or, you know, I'm not looking for them to make money, but maybe there's some consideration you can give there.
More questions? Bill?
Joe, do you have an idea how much that's gonna cost for setup and cleanup on your end?
Oh, well, yeah, we'll be sending a couple guys up there. We go to, it was a total 3 days a week now. So, you know, there'll be extra, you know, cleaning of the bathrooms and stuff like that. One of the types of $150, you know, it's not a lot of money. I mean, if we catch it on one of our 3 times, it's the what ifs that show up. I think the intention is to use the kitchen and have like some type of concessions that they'll get a board out. So again, it's not crazy money. I don't think we're requiring them to put the carpet or the floor covering out. That's what we do with Berkshire Grove, so that's a little bit more.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say.
Sure. It's covered in one.
Well, the problem is you put that plastic on that. I don't know how that,
Of the ring,
yeah, I don't know
the
how
weight
that,
of the ring, if that'll do any damage with the
plastic.
I think that needs to be looked at,
We can work that out with them.
okay?
Well, the ring would be its own protection,
The
correct?
ring, they bring their own ring, just like they do,
There's a
they
ton of
set it up and
people in and
everything.
Right.
So I think there's, what the plan is to put the ring in the floor, so that's where, people, the actors will be walking. All the, attendees will be in the bleachers, not like at the farmer's market walking all over the place, so. It's a little different, probably like a basketball game.
Mhm.
So again, I think a lot of the floor isn't used and may not need to be covered.
Do we know if they're planning on putting chairs up around the ring also, or just,
When I talked to
just
Jared-
the bleachers?
Yeah, it was just, when I talked to Jeremy, it was just they're gonna use the bleachers. There's no chairs and they didn't mention anything about bringing any.
Yeah.
Years ago, they had chairs. Not anymore.
I would feel strongly about just making sure that the floor was protected and also that the cost of the cost of whatever kind of, taking up and putting it down would be.
We can work with them, if that's what we want to do.
So is this gonna be an actual ring? You know, with raised posts and everything?
From what I understand, yes.
Can't jump off the top of it. if you don't have a
I
ring.
mean,
Julie? Hold on one second. Paul, finish your thought, and then Julie, would you please?
Hmm?
Will you finish your thought?
yeah,
Yeah,
and so. I'm just concerned that the weight of that alone, absent anybody in the ring, is going to cause some damage to that floor despite what may go on underneath it.
Don't answer, I don't have the answer.
And well, let's hypothetical, let's suppose there is some damage to the floor. Are they responsible for repairing it?
Well, there will be an insurance certificate.
Well, that's a liability insurance. It protects individuals. It doesn't protect the building, does it?
No,
So this is, well, it's general liability insurance they give us, so I'm not sure.
you
it's
could
covered.
easily write in to an agreement.
The other concern that I have is why are they not here?
well, Paul, just for that piece, they came a couple of meetings in a row, and I'm not sure that the communication got
okay.
all the way clear that they needed to come back again for our approval in addition to the others, so, but Karen, what were you saying?
What I was gonna say was, is that I think it would be easily a codicil to any sort of agreement that we make with them, if there is any damage to the floor, that they are responsible to fix it. Period.
So we have a written agreement that goes to Berkshire Grown, and I think we could
Easily.
write in, adapt it for this purpose. Are you comfortable with that? Yeah, okay. So to me, it feels like worth taking a vote on this, and including assessing a fee. Yes, Bill?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this proposal at $150 for a fee, as long as we have, coverage for the floor and any damage it's done.
Can I get a second? And then I'd love to hear it from Julie.
Second,
Julie, did you have something to say?
For my own notification, I wanted to know what, if they had, certificate of insurance, but also I feel like strongly that we should ask them to cover the floor at least. You know, with insurance, you have to go through that whole process of like redoing the floors, and that's just like such a pain. That's
Great.
all waste of materials,
Great.
you know?
Let's,
And I see you do have notes here again that you did talk to, and he realizes this, it means 2 Saturdays in a row, they won't have the gym.
yes, but the one piece about that is about pickleball starting later on Sunday. Or start ending earlier on Sunday. And I reached out to Jill, but she didn't get back to me, so. Karen, do you have any
No.
knowledge of that? You don't know about that? So,
Even when you get to some idea, I mean, we've already given it up for 2 Sundays because of basketball. If you can give me the exact parameter of what you want, then I will approach those people.
okay, great, excellent. Shall we take a vote on this?
So exactly what motion did you make, Bill? Can you
To
repeat it?
approve, I'd like to approve the use of the, Woozy Dome as written here, for $150. Also, $150 rental, rental
Usage
usage fee, thank you. And, And I would like to also just include within that, that there is some protection for the floor, making sure the floor is protected.
Guaranteed.
And just one more thing, which is, basketball's not in yet. Basketball's not in the Who's Dome yet.
No.
So we're good. Okay, can we take a vote? Also Carolyn Sridevi is now here, so
Yes, he is.
all in favor?
She's right here.
No, she said she is now.
Now here.
Oh,
What
November
was that, what
16th,
you said
right?
about?
Oh, November 16th. You're right.
I don't know.
You're totally
It is
right.
basketball.
I'll find out what that means.
Hold on.
What did that mean when you said
No,
basketball?
I read the date wrong. Nope.
Basketball.
Basketball is in.
Yeah.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, aye.
Okay, so, Karen is opposed.
Yep.
And Paul is opposed. And Terry is opposed.
I'm abstaining because I was not here for this.
And Sridevi is abstaining. So that's 4-3. Okay. Yes,
I said yes.
you said yes. Okay. So it passes. Okay. Berkshire Soccer League. So you all will see in your packet that there is a parks usage request for a soccer game, a soccer tournament on October 27th, which is this Sunday at Olympian Meadows. And Tomas, would you? Just a soccer game, excuse me, soccer game for Berkshire Soccer League. From 10 to 12 this Sunday. Do you wanna come up and explain?
Hi, everybody. My name is Thomas Ramirez. I've been living around the Berkshire the last 14 years, moving from California, and obviously soccer has been part of my life. It's a passion. So when I hit the Berkshire, I started finding around where I could play soccer, and I'm saying I find a couple of friends over there, and so we started organizing soccer in 2012 at the Berkshire, in the Stockbridge field. After 2 years, I left the organization, because, doing the job and trying to organize is not an easy thing. But the beginning of this year, a lot of leaders from different teams in the Berkshire, they talked to me about they want to organize like a tournament. And one of them, they told me they had contact with Karen, and I don't know exactly how they got contact, but they offered the field, the metal field, the playground, so we can play there. And I have the dates and everything in my computer right there, but I can't like tell you right now exactly the dates, but we met Karen at the field one day, one Sunday with another guy. I don't
So
remember his
Tomas, can I stop you there for just one moment? Because we have the Berkshire Soccer League and Olympian Meadows on the agenda in a little while on the minutes. And so I want to make sure that we have a chance to talk fully about the experience that has happened at Olympian Meadows before. But I also want to make sure that the committee understands what you're asking for this evening. And we can table the vote on it until after we have a full discussion about it if you'd like. So would you introduce this soccer game for Sunday?
Well, this soccer game is because it's just for the issue that we have in the last game. So we got contact for different community organizers like that. They wanna keep basically the game on Sundays over there. So and that's why I started like at the bottom, because I was just trying to explain
Yes.
how this happened, but I don't have that time. So this is basically, it's just like a one game on Sunday, just like a friendly game, and that's all.
Perfect. Thank you. Will you stay right there? So we can move right on to that. So this is the parks usage request that you'll see on your agenda. And we, at some point this evening, will need to vote on this parks usage request. The next item on the agenda as far as old business is soccer at Olympian Meadows in general. And I'm hoping that we can start the conversation about that now and then come back to the parks usage request form. Does that sound okay?
Good.
Great. Please tell us a little bit more about the incident that happened and being.
Okay, so at the beginning, we have the first game. But we talked to Karen like very clear about it's not just like a pickup game. It was a
What?
tournament.
So
So let me finish, please.
hold on a second, hold on, guys. This is a community meeting. This is a town meeting. So if we're gonna let Tomas speak, I'd like to let
I
him
need to
speak.
hear, need to know exactly what he just said. I need him to repeat it. So I'm clear at what he's just said. That's what it is.
Yeah, I said, the first time when we met, I was there like 5 minutes late. And my two friends over here, they were already meeting with you. And we talked about, like, we're gonna have a tournament at the field. It wasn't just a pickup game. And you said you were fine with that, but you asked like, if you need to have an insurance, which is, I agree with that. But we said like, we've been doing this for many years and we never have like incident. And also we have, agreements, like for the game, for the people, they play games, so everything. So, and she said like, we're fine, but we have to find in, how to take care of the field, cut the grass and everything. And also clean up after each game, which we did that. And she asked me to send her email, which is I have there in the file, the dates I'm gonna need to use for the season. So I sent it to her, I have that email. And so we started the tournament. But unfortunately, the first game we had is, it was a rainy day. It wasn't raining that bad. And also all the referees we have, they're federal in Massachusetts. So they say they can play the game if it's not like the thunder light or something like that. So we played the game, but unfortunately, the one thing like, I believe we misunderstand because she had a conversation with one of the members of the organization right here. And she said she spoke to one of them about the field. It was sharing the field with another, the softball females game on Monday. We didn't know that by that time. So when we played the first game, in the rainy, so all the fields being destroyed, like in one corner where the bases for the soft game, we didn't know. So after 1 week, we got a message, a call from Karen, like really very intense. Because they're gonna have a game that Monday. And so everybody, we left the job, because everybody working, we went to the field, we take care of it, we fixed it. And she came after 5 o'clock to make sure the field was fixed and we did it. So we continue with our tournament. But unfortunately, in the last game, the two it was the final game, the two teams, like we never like consider that's gonna happen because never that happened before in our tournament. It was a terrible game. The game they started just fighting. And my question is like, if one of you guys, you've been part of in your childhood or when you're have some kids in the school before, like if you be a coaching a team, any kind of team, you know, when something that happened, it's very, very hard to take control. And this incident, it's not just like Latino community, it's a diversity. Unfortunately, in that game, both of the team they got in that incident, like 80%, there is the college kids. And so after that, we ended up the game. We didn't finish the game and the cop, obviously somebody called the cop and cop show up and everything, and but everything it was over. Nobody was fighting by then. And after 2-3 weeks, I got, because the email I have, on file for the Berkshire, soccer league, I don't use that much, it's just for the soccer tournament. So I find out I have an email from Karen and saying like, we're not allowed to use the field anymore, and I understand that, it's understandable. But, after that, I couldn't contact her back, I didn't send her back, because, I'm pretty sure, like, after I read what she wrote to me about that incident, it was very. I can't find the word to describe it. It was very intense. So I couldn't reply that to her. So and then now after 4 weeks ago, we got contact with somebody who worked with the community too, so they asked them if we can come again to this meeting and request if we can use the field again. But I would like to bring another friends, like we wanna like talk a little bit more about this too, because I got everything on file, but I'm not prepared today, like to spoke to, like very.
So I do want to mention that we had a meeting with Chief Storty.
Yeah, so we have Chief Store, and he said, back then in 2012, he was playing, and his member family was playing our tournament, so, and he was like, I would say like, agree about what, our proposal, because we have, in our term, it's like really, it's basically, it's a community. We don't live for that. Every single one, we have another, we have a job, and the tournament is just a passion for us, but we take in this like very like serious like tournament as for community, because I believe like in inclusion in this town, in the Berkshire, it's very important for me, not just for our community, just for everybody, for the kids, like, and believe it or not, but this page I have a lot of requests about people, they ask me if we're gonna have like youth tournament or female tournament or all that kind of, because they don't see any kind around, so, Chico, no era, no complementar algo.
So I wanna open, yeah, we're gonna hear. Hi,
Hi.
will you introduce
My
yourself?
name is Salvador, and I'm part of the Western League soccer tournament. And I just wanna add that we already speak with the chief for Great Barrington. We had a meeting with him, and we addressed all the topics that what happened that day, because he was asking us how we address that problem. And I just wanna say that that's the problem, we did never see that's gonna happen that day, because we know that most of the players were like college players. But the only thing we find out after the game and after the problem is that they had a final too in Pittsfield a week before our final. And they have a fight up there too, but through college. Now they play the game out of college. So they take the chance to fight as they could, because in the college they couldn't do that. That's the only thing like I wanna add to it. And any question from you guys is like.
Thank you. I wanna open it up to questions in just a moment, but do you wanna say anything before? Will you introduce yourself?
Carlos, part of this group over here. And we just, I wanna say is, we want to just keep doing the tournament. We were, whatever passes, so we try to move forward. But that's my only. I just wanna say.
Thank you. Before I take questions from the commission, I want to share that we had a meeting with the chief. He asked very specifically for a list of rules and regulations for the league, which we have received but have not yet been translated into English. He's been out all week, but he's working on it. And the second piece is what the league did for players who were involved in this fighting and how they deal with that.
Yeah, we did email the chief, I did email
Yeah.
personally, chief, all the regulation. And I told him like very clear in that meeting, like, unfortunately, I have this, we have the regulation only in Spanish so far. So we working for, to translate everything in English, so everywhere, and it's gonna be posted in the Virtual League Facebook and also Instagram page. So and he said we can email, those emails in Spanish, so he can take care of that. So now we just waiting to finish the translation, but I didn't have answer from him yet, so I just emailed him
Yes,
yesterday.
thank you. Thank you. Questions from commissioners, Paul?
First of all, is this an organized league with teams who wear uniforms?
Yes,
Okay, how many teams are in this league?
18,
How many?
8.
8? Okay,
And can I just clarify? 8 teams in the league for league play, but not for Sunday's game, correct? Or also for Sunday's game?
We'll meet for this Sunday.
For the parks usage request form that we
No,
have
for the
here.
request it's just a friendly game.
Got
It's just one game.
Just to clarify.
This is not
Got
a tournament.
Thank
there
you.
are very many connotations to that word friendly in the world of soccer, so I'm well aware of those. So there are 8 teams, and you have uniforms. And who officiates these games? Do you hire certified,
We have a federated referees.
you hire,
Yeah.
well, there's only one organization in the county
That's the
that
difference.
supplies
That's the only
officials.
one which is
It's the
county.
same group that supplies high
Yeah.
school people.
Mhm.
Okay, in this particular instance, when you say friendly, are you talking about 2 teams
2 teams.
playing each other
Yeah,
who are both gonna be wearing uniforms?
absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify exactly what it is, okay? So it's just regular game with regular officials.
Is it like an all-star game, the players from all the 8 teams?
Yes.
It's not
It's
just one
not
team.
just one team, it's
Right,
for.
so it's like players from all the teams.
Yeah, also we did invite the chief, because he said he used to play soccer, and we did invite him if he wants to, but we didn't have a response yet.
Yes, Shudevi?
I think the confusing thing for us is that I think we thought as a committee, we were approving a pickup game on a specific night. I think that for us, that's what we had originally thought we had approved. And so when back in August, I think, when this incident happened, all of us were very just surprised that there was like an organized tournament happening. Only because we had only approved a pickup game. Right,
That's what we had approved. We had approved a friendly
But it
pickup
sounds
game,
like you
and next
had a
thing we know,
different
it was a league being run.
understanding of what was happening.
Yes. Karen, you've got some questions?
Yeah, since I was the person that you've been referring to throughout all this, I'm gonna be very clear. At no time did I ever say that a tournament could happen. You came to us and asked for a pickup game on Sundays. That's what you asked for. That's what was approved. Never, ever did I say that. I met down there twice with you guys. The reason that the whole softball issue is you guys played during the rain, and I have photographs of what the field looked like, so I called you and said, you need to come and rake this out, because you knew there was a softball game, because softball was played on that field, because we kept talking about, you wanted to move the backstop and all the foul balls, and we're like, no, that has to stay. That was discussed more than once. I know that to be true. Number two, the intense email that I supposedly sent, which was copied to probably 12 or 13 people, was basically approved by
Us? You didn't see that.
no, it didn't go to you. It went to Alana, it went to the, police chief, it went, yeah, there was more than
I'm sorry, which,
the email that was
Oh.
sent to them.
Mhm.
You got it.
I did.
And what it said was very direct in the sense of, this has been reported, we need somebody to get in touch. It was addressed to you, it was addressed to Berkshire Soccer, it was addressed to a guy named Luke in Pittsfield.
Right.
There was 5 or 6 other people other than Berkshire Soccer and it was a direct, please get in touch with us. No, you can't use the field till you get in touch with us and the police department.
Yes.
And somebody else saw that, so it wasn't like it was done in secret.
Did you have questions for them about that, or just wanted to make sure that the committee heard that?
I want to make sure that the facts that are being presented are clear,
Got it.
okay?
Yep.
My concern is, okay. I had guys live in my house for 5 years that were part of this whole soccer thing. They loved it. Jose, Felipe, Carlos Garcia, they now live in Lay, okay? So I support, what I don't support is how that all played out and what happened with the police. And then when we asked directly that they get in touch before they want to go back, nobody did anything. And it went out on Facebook, it went out on direct email. You got a copy of it. And nobody ever, and now all of a sudden, now they want to play again and they want to come back. So I want to be sure that never was there anything given that this could be a tournament. It was gonna be a pickup game. And they did at one point volunteer, can we come and mow and stuff like that? And I know I mentioned it to Joe and Joe talked to them and stuff like that. So it's not like, but never was it a tournament for the group.
Understood. Are there more questions?
I just have one more question. Of the 8 teams, and please don't misunderstand my question here. Of the 8 teams, is this an all Latino league, or is there?
No.
Okay.
That's why I said like in the beginning, this is like an inclusion, versus community, soccer league.
Okay,
It's a community and like I
So
said, they
it's
will play,
teams
they
from
play like. People from
Pittsfield
around the
and-
world.
okay.
Yeah, all the
Right.
people, the immigrants, wherever you call.
Bill?
So, you know, it's like there's a lot of negativity around this in some ways. And I just want to say that I went down there, like I stayed in the background and I just went down there one day. And everything you're saying is exactly true. It was a rainbow coalition on that field. There were probably 100 people just sitting there, spectating. It was an event. And from what I understand also is that when there is baseball playing there also, while the soccer is going, everybody gets along and everybody is enjoying each other's company. And I think this is an opportunity for us to have a multi-dimensional field. Now that we know that some things have happened that, you know, that we didn't know about, that you guys, you know, that some things got out of control. That day, let's not forget, that day was 98 degrees with high humidity in the sun. And that was, for you guys to be playing in that was like incredible. But so that kind of heat can affect the way people react to things. And not to say that that doesn't give it carte blanche that, you know, well, let's have a fight then, but, you know, tempers run high on that. And I just think that we as a committee, with you guys, you know, serving the passion that soccer players do have, I think that it behooves us to work out something so that we can make sure that people are safe, so that the games are good, And the baseball that's down there can work in collaboration with the soccer so that everybody feels like we're all in this together.
So my one concern is I'm hearing that the chief hasn't signed off on this yet because he hasn't seen the rules.
He has seen the rules. He has not approved the rules or approved the arrangements that they have with, yes.
Is gonna be there or not.
He and I exchanged voicemails today, and I suggested that we put this on the agenda as pending approval from the chief tomorrow. Okay,
Still not hearing,
Are we gonna require police presence?
We don't, we
No,
spoke to them.
I'm asking this group.
Okay.
I wanna know, are we gonna require police presence for this?
so the chief offered to make sure to make the police presence known at this game and future, whatever we approve in the future, but right now we're just talking about Sunday. And he has agreed to have regular, it's on the regular
Regular
visit,
patrol.
regular patrol, and was totally on board for that. Yes, Julie?
And just piggybacking on what Bill said, I just feel like what happened was an isolated incident. I really don't care whether it's like, whether this is a rainbow coalition or not. I think it's just people who want to play soccer. And I don't think we should make a deal about it of like what the demographics are. And the idea that there may have to be an ongoing police presence, I don't like the feel of that at all. I feel like we should treat it as an isolated incident because there haven't been any other incidents.
Yes, there have been. I beg to differ.
Okay.
It's
Not
not
that I
in Pittsfield.
No, I'm talking about it in Olympian Meadows.
I understand
Yeah,
that,
but I
but this
don't know
group
what
is
the same group.
Okay, I'm not aware of that.
That's what I
But,
think is important.
I just think we have to just kind of, I mean, treat it as far as it goes as an isolated incident, you know, at Olympian Meadows. I agree that, we've had the meetings with Chief Story, and if he's okay with what's going on, it's fine, but I feel like we can't make such a huge deal when this has only happened once, and, also the details of the day as far as weather, and there's just the variables that were in play. I feel like, we can't, I don't know, I don't feel very good about just like laying out all the
Hold on one
demographics,
second.
talking about like, police presence, when this so far as long as I've been here, this is the first I've heard of like an incident like this one,
Thank you.
and it happens.
Tom, and then Paul.
So I've been involved in organized soccer since I moved back here in 1980, so it's 40 years.
Since you were younger.
Well, I played as we organized, and I've witnessed during that time, we had summer leagues that were with 6 to 8 teams from Pittsfield, Dalton, Great Barrington, Lenox. And as these years evolved, we started welcoming many of the Latinos who started coming into the area as being part of this. So but how it was organized, it was always up to, teams getting sponsors, like 20 Railroad Street, for instance, and getting coordinated with the Berkshire County referees, where all the games and rules, it was very clear and very organized. And I'm in favor of that, because I saw this thing sort of disappear maybe about 10 years ago, but that's not, so I'm in favor of promoting and making this kind of participation possible. What the board here is having a problem with is we just created that soccer field at Olympia Meadows within the last year.
Yeah.
And at that point, nobody here as a board was approached that organized games from any of these leagues were going to be played at that field. There was the impression of most of us is that we were providing a day, trying to find days and times where people could play pickup soccer. And, you know, not open to everybody
Mhm.
who showed up at those times, and to try to arrange it so there was no conflict with people who were playing softball and little league and football, and then try to find the space. And I think there's a lot of interest in this board right now to create that time and make that available.
Just to clarify, you're saying that the board is interested in creating pickup opportunities,
Correct.
and also you personally have an interest in also creating league-like opportunities for soccer in Great Barrington
Yes.
also.
Also, but I'm just saying that at this point, we haven't been approached for league type organized use of a team. And as I've done it now, I've been in the over 40 league for till I became too old. But, you know, that league was also very, you know, insurance certificates. You had, each team had to find, and there's always been a problem finding a field.
Yep.
The South County team has played at Simon's Rock, they played at Monument, you know, every year it's a different story about where we can get, you know, the insurance and times to play that league. And so I understand how difficult it is to get these fields and to get this going. And I'm all in favor of making fields available for this kind of activity, but it has to be done
Thank you.
in an improved manner.
I want to speak to that in just a moment, but Paul, I think you had
I
something.
just
and
wanted
then
to
Steve.
kind of answer Julie's statement about it was a one-time incident. Of all the people here, I'm sure I'm the only one that's ever officiated these kinds of games when I was much younger. The leagues that I officiated in were very well organized with a hierarchy and with identification cards, which the official, me or whoever, would take before the game. And if there was any incidents, the identification cards didn't go home with the players, so they couldn't play the next game. So I, like Tom, am in favor of this not being just a place for, you know, people that just come off the street and have a, you know, kick the ball around or whatever. I would like to see organized leagues. I'm just a little bit concerned that I have not seen a document
Mhm,
that says what the league's hierarchy is
mhm.
and what the penalties would be for, as we had this, you know, seemingly one-off incident. And that makes me uneasy
Can I just
about
add?
it, but I am overall in favor of approving something like this, but I just, I don't know if I can do it with this one until I see some kind of documentation for this.
So I wanted before, Steve's next, and then Tom.
Those leagues that always had a hierarchy of a president, vice president, secretary,
Yes,
and a representative from one captain from each team,
yes.
and a representative from the referees of Berkshire County.
So,
And these would be all organized meetings to set up the schedule, rules.
yes,
And there was, you know, anything like what happened at that game, if anybody in the leagues I've been in, anyone who instigated physical violence on a field was never allowed to play in any organized game again.
so,
That's
Yeah.
just how
So
these
before-
leagues, and I think we're trying to see that this is kind of situation. can be
before you guys
guaranteed like
respond,
that.
because we want to hear from you, and Steve, I know you have something to add also.
Yep.
I want to clarify that what we are looking to approve this evening is this Sunday's game, which would be a pickup game, not league play, and start the conversation about what we all need to see in preparation for next year, next season, which includes Berkshire Soccer League and also others who are not yet involved with Berkshire
Right.
Soccer League. setting up that hierarchy, understanding all of the ins and outs of what the plan is, so that we are not caught in this situation where there are all these unknowns in the future. And so they are related conversations, but they're not exactly the same thing. And I think that this conversation about what we as a committee need to see for the future is really, really right on. And also that we are talking about making it possible for people to play soccer this Sunday to start. Steve, please.
So just a couple things.
Yep.
I think you're right. We need to really talk about the league and what the league involves, because all we approved was pickup. I don't buy the whole argument. It's the first incident. The field's been there a year. I don't care if the field's been there 10 years. An incident of violence needs a response so that we're sure that it doesn't happen again. I'm not worried about whether the Latinos, not worried whether the Latinos or what they are. It doesn't matter to me. We're very lucky a police officer didn't get hurt. That's the description I had, and we'd be reacting differently if they had, and it's only lucky one didn't get hurt. So we really need to think about that. The other is, it happened only once. Well, shame on them. Happens again, it's shame on us, because we didn't take action to prevent it from happening again. I'm not hearing anything tonight, and I realize this is the end. What's gonna be done differently so this doesn't happen again? I'm not hearing anyone saying, we're sorry, it shouldn't have happened, and these people aren't playing, or what. I really need to hear what we're doing to prevent this from happening again. Because if it had happened in a Chargers football, if it had happened in Little League, there was coaches fighting, we'd have them here and be saying, you know what? You're not playing again till we hear some sort of remediation, what's gonna happen, and you two are not, you're sitting out a year. You two aren't allowed on our field, so we have a long ways to go before we decide, what we're gonna do.
So,
But wasn't that addressed with the chief in the meetings?
yes, it was.
It needs to be addressed by us.
But-
The chief isn't in charge of this field, we are.
Yes,
And he needs to come to one of our meetings, or
Yes.
one of his
That's what I was
officers.
gonna
Yeah.
say.
yes.
I need to hear, because I was part of the original issue. I need to hear from Chief Storty that he has gone through all this and what's gonna happen, because I would like to see soccer played on that field by anybody and everybody who can kick a ball and not fall over like Norton does at this juncture, okay? My point.
Well, let him
is-
play with a walker, that's the problem.
Unnecessary, guys.
Play square
Unnecessary.
No, that's perfect. But my point is that I want, and I also think there was communication issues, this whole pickup versus tournament and everything else. I think that we need to stick to the point. What we're talking about tonight is just the
The
pickup
Sunday.
game. If I can talk to Paul Storty and they give them a set of rules and Paul Storty signs off on it based on everything that I went through with him on that incident, then I would approve for this one time. Going forward with Lee, I like the ID card, I like all that stuff. I don't care whether you went to, BART or whatever. That's a whole different story.
Great, Sridevi, and then I think we should,
And this is about Sunday, so you're saying pickup. But they're saying
Game.
two teams with uniforms, grass, so is that so we need to clarify what's happening Sunday. Is it pickup or is it a game?
say something?
It's, no matter what.
I
if
know, but
a-
it's not pickup though.
No.
No
Pickup
matter
is
what,
different
if
than-
it's a tournament or it's just a pickup. If those two teams, they play a game, they have to wear a uniform, because that's the rule.
Yeah,
for the
but like
soccer.
our understanding of pickup is like,
I mean, that
our
thing is
15-year-old boys
clear.
could
I
go
think
down
it's
to the.
clear.
No,
Okay.
I think.
hold on a second,
I just think
everybody.
Our idea, the board's idea of a pickup is different than maybe your guys' idea, and that's where the communication breaks.
Yeah,
down
but the
is
question you're asking is about if they're gonna wear a uniform or no. It's the same thing I'm trying to clarify your question. That's very simple.
So I think,
Pickup or just friendly game or tournament, they have to wear uniform, so you can see
Can I
who's
Yeah.
playing each other again.
Can I just try to clarify
We
this?
don't
for-
show it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our definition of pickup is different.
So,
than-
so what we're saying, is this a team that plays all year long together? Or is this 30 people? They have to wear a uniform, because if everyone wears white, it's gonna be confusing. We get that. We get all that. Or is it guys or ladies who've been playing the whole year together? Or is it when you get down there, you decide who's playing on one side and who's playing on the other?
This is just like I said, we call friendly game because some random people they gonna play.
So random, that's important to know.
Hold on.
This is just the one
Okay.
Sunday game. And also I want to clarify this one. Karen was saying like, now we came back after that incident without apologize you guys, which is we didn't get there to the point. We're not asking, we don't came for that long to ask again without apologizing. Because she worked for, different do community work and she get to us and that's why we're here. Because usually we play in Stockbridge. And because one of our members, he got like, I don't know how he got the contact with Karen. And that's how we start playing in Grapevine, because it's more like central, for the Berkshires and people from all over. And also, I think the big mistake we did is we didn't write down everything. We didn't like an email or something with Karen. Because all four of us,
Hold on,
we
hold
met
on.
Karen over there and we talked about
Okay.
clearly about it's a tournament.
Okay, so hold on a second. I want to take us back to the point. Okay, I want to take us back to the point. I think Sridevi's question is, can our 14-year-old sons play on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, what would the process be if our 14-year-old kids wanted to play on Sunday?
We have our regulation,
Uh-huh,
like every single player, they have to sign up.
okay,
And if there's something happened to them, because we don't have insurance, we have to cover our back too.
Yes.
And in our regulation that says, like, exactly,
second.
if something, you don't have to like fight it with, you can file. all
Yes.
the things, liability thing. So it's your own way.
okay. So our children would we need to let you know ahead of time if they're coming on Sunday or?
If it's under 18, you
Uh-huh.
have to have a.
Parent signature.
To allow.
And they could come just Sunday morning at 9:45 and sign, the parent could sign a waiver or Bill could come down and sign a waiver and play on these two teams for Sunday, just to clarify what we're talking about, yes?
Yeah, they have to they have to sign out the
Wait,
waiver
right.
Got it.
before they play.
Understood, understood.
What happens if 40 people show up to play?
No, we only have.
No, I mean, because of this pickup and, your son tells somebody else, and,
That's-
oh, let's
that's
go
Well, we
down.
have a rules,
That's why.
That's what my question.
we have a rules to follow, we follow all that, only they play, in each team they play 20,
Mhm.
only can sign 20 people, and they only can play
First come,
11.
first serve.
First
First
come,
come, first
first
serve.
serve. That's
Okay.
Okay.
Silvana, did you have anything you wanted to add about this
I
Sunday?
just wanna simplify everything that we have talked. So unfortunately, Karen and all of you were not present when Ilana, myself and this team and Chief Storti met at the police station. He was clear that they have all the rules and regulations and contract and everything that they have in Spanish. Chief Storti says that it's okay, that he can get it, the Spanish version from Thomas, because at the police station, they have somebody who speaks Spanish. We sent him that email last Thursday. Chief Storti has been out of work, so that's why you don't have it, you don't see it, you haven't seen it. And like Canon says, it's being something missing transition. Whether they misinterpreted, maybe you send it to the wrong person, I don't know. But we have to start creating a paper trail.
Yes.
And the communication is gonna be clear now that everything is gonna be translated to English, because they have everything in Spanish.
Right.
And Chief Storchi knows that, and he was okay with that.
Okay.
And I spoke with him on the phone before coming here, asking him if he can come here. When we met at the station, he was hoping to be here tonight, but I believe for personal issues, he cannot make it.
Okay.
So everything is on the table, nothing is been hiding, nobody's been doing anything that is not on the books. And basically what we wanna do this Sunday is again, with the families that we can enjoy a nice soccer game, no matter who is gonna play, they need the different colors so they can distinguish the teams. And moving forward, we will continue. So this is like the start to create the formal legal and with all the rules for them to continue with the league.
So
That is very needed in the Berkshire.
thank you. What I would like to do is if there is a motion to address this particular Sunday's game, I'd like to take that. And then I would like to create a subcommittee to talk about preparing for next season's soccer potential.
I would
Okay.
like to make a motion that we approve this game for this weekend pending on the
Chiefs.
chief authorities, signing off on it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're good. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so
Great game.
we will be in,
Yeah, sorry about this,
thank you,
cannot control it.
thank you.
We trying to play something, but.
Takes work.
Thank you. Take work.
Thank you so much. Can I have volunteers to join a soccer subcommittee in preparation for next season?
Yeah, I'll be part of it.
Paul,
Sure, I will too.
Tom, Shrew Davy. Thank you so much. Excellent. Moving on, thank you guys very much. Parks improvements and maintenance suggestion form, we are tabling because that is not complete.
Holiday shindig.
Oh, holiday shindig, nobody's here for the holiday shindig. Right, cool. Oh, Janice is not here for that. Right?
No.
No, okay.
Holiday shindig.
Yes. So what I would like to do is go a little bit out of order. I asked, we're gonna keep this conversation very brief because I know it's Tuesday night and it's getting late. I asked everyone to come with 3 priorities for parks priorities for the next 3 years. And I don't wanna have a big, sorry, guys.
What about the budget discussion?
I'm just moving it into a slightly different order for a second so that we can have that budget decision. Can I ask? Yeah, thank you so much. I'm just moving it into a slightly different order so that we can have that budget conversation. So top 3 priorities and then if you wanna, oh, Jed's not, yeah. For top priorities. I think it has to wait. Yeah, so if anybody, if we could just go around top of head, top 3 priorities. And then Julie, I'm gonna ask you to talk Dewey Park and open space. And the discussion of Old Maids is on the agenda because we said we would table it to this month. So
Table it again.
we're gonna table it again. Thank you so much. Excellent. Julie, can I ask you to give a quick rundown of Dewey Park and open spaces? I feel like that could contribute to this
I
conversation.
think it's just continuing our discussion from last year when we were planning on improving Dewey Park as a usable space for the community. Right now, it just consists of a large open space with a couple of swings, a bench and not much shade, and the community around there is growing. There are a lot of families there. Shri Devi and I have both heard from people in the community who would like their children to be able to walk from home or from, school, after school to a park space. I know other people could enjoy that space as well. We had spoken with, I think Ty and Bond had come to one of our meetings.
And they came up with like a
And they-
preliminary sort of,
They had come up with a proposal, I think,
that
included possibly
basketball court,
community garden.
pickle.
Maybe pickleball, but I think the parking lot was
Yeah.
not usable anymore, but it's something that I think really, well,
Pick back up.
I think we should pick it back up. Grove Street looks really nice
Yeah.
right now,
What I would recommend, we have another neighborhood discussion, because were you part of the other one? Because the neighbors at that time, and I'm not saying it, they're still there, or they feel the same way, wanted just open space. They didn't want us to build a
Yes.
full park. That doesn't mean we need to do that, but let's talk to the neighbors again and get an idea of what they think
Yeah,
should be there. It's their neighborhood.
it is their neighborhood, and, I mean, just from what I've heard, it could use like an updated, play structure, because there is a play structure there, but it is just very sad and,
And even
it's
with
not very
open space,
usable.
it could use some landscaping.
It could use a landscaping, and there is a lot of open space there, and, yeah.
Thank you. So that's great. So, Julie, since you started the conversation, do you have other things that are on the top of your list? Like I said, we're not gonna go into a deep conversation about it this evening, but
I don't know if our commission covers bicycle paths in Great Barrington. Doesn't. Yeah, I would have loved something like that, and maybe like more,
Talk to Chris Arnold.
yeah.
Okay.
That's really at the top of my list, you know, more plantings in the parks.
great. Karen,
No, and nothing.
Tom?
No, I'm willing to let it slide for a minute.
Okay,
Other than maintenance,
Of what we've got.
continued maintenance of what we've got.
perfect.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much. Bill?
I'd like to do another open water clinic in Lake Mansfield and just make sure that Lake Mansfield is, you know, just back up and running as it has been in the past, you know, and I'm really interested to see how the soccer thing turns out in Olympia Meadows, because I do think, like what these guys are saying, that it serves the whole community.
Thank you. Is there anything standing in the way of that open water clinic at Lake Mansfield?
No.
Okay, great, just to clarify. Paul?
Other than what Julia said about Dewey, I think that we need to have a year where we don't begin any brand new large projects until we get everything that we are now overlooking and supervising, you know, just so. I think that we have reached the point where we need to maybe just pull back a little bit and make sure that what we're doing now is appropriate for the community.
Thank you. Sridevi?
I agree. I mean, I think we have, especially with everything proposed for the skate park, I mean, I think that's a big priority for a lot of us. I did notice the basketball hoops, which are really nice.
And the water fountain.
Oh, yeah, I didn't touch the water fountains, but,
Just in time to cover them up.
yeah, I'm really excited that the basketball hoops are up and, yeah, Dewey Park would be a nice thing to start working on and looking at.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I had thought of, was Dewey Park and pull back the reins a little bit. Let's get everything caught up.
Great.
And the only other thought I had is, I know they make a lot of their own benches, is to make sure that there's a bench at every single park, no matter how minute it is. Like, as an example, I go by Tracy Park all the time. Yes, it's on Stockbridge Road, it's up in the hill there, but why not have a bench there, just in case somebody does wanna go sit in it?
Great. Love it. Steve?
Yeah, so
Any place you want a bench, send him an email.
Yeah.
They got the squad there all winter.
So I think there are two things to look at. One is to do an inventory of what needs to be done at all of our parks. And there may be some large structures that have to be replaced, so it's not meaning not to spend money. I think the other is to do a deep dive into the skate park. We don't have the money for that, but look at funding for that for in the next 3 to 5 years and see how we can get funding for that.
Great, great. Yeah, I'll just add, what many people have mentioned, the skate park, soccer field, and maintenance of what exists feels really
Can
important.
I just add one thing too? There
Yes.
was discussion about plantings of trees.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a good, you know, as these chances come up or budgets arrive for that, I'm in favor of anything that helps create shade or, you know,
Yes,
green stuff.
thank you. Karen?
Along with the one thing about planting, what we have to remember is every time we plant something, it needs to be taken care of.
Yes,
Number two, the tree, there needs to be more shade at some of the parks, like especially at Memorial Field, at Olympia, Memorial Field, there needs to be, what was the guy, Chris who did that?
yes.
Yeah, Chris.
I-
Sure.
And I think that that's part of the skate park proposal, and so that's a piece that would need to be
Yeah, the funding on that is gonna be astronomical,
Yeah.
so we'd have to look at phasing it and some other things.
Great. I'm mindful of the time. Joe, do you wanna, say anything? Maybe we'll just let Jed go and then let you have the floor. Jed, do you want to introduce yourself and give us a quick rundown of what you have to speak to the commission about? That'd be great. Would you? That'd be great.
Jed Shields, thank you for having me. I'm a little taken aback by all the things you guys have on your agenda. It's quite impressive.
So are we?
Yeah, I would imagine, more than I had anticipated. So a little overview is that, first of all, I'm a local arborist and a longtime, rock climber, rock climbing guide, certified guide, in fact. And, I'm here for a very simple reason, and it's just to, bring your attention, get your awareness, to the ongoing efforts to conserve the land, the last significant tract of privately owned land on East Mountain here in Great Barrington. We have been trying for many years, we, meaning I'm here as a representative of our Climbers Coalition, the Western Massachusetts Climbers Coalition. We own and manage several tracts of significant tracts of land in Western Massachusetts. And we have been trying to purchase and conserve for recreation this land on East Mountain that is currently overseen and owned technically by the Great Barrington Fire District / Water Department / Prudential Committee. And so we have good relations with them. We have for decades now. We right now have an easement, so to speak, a formal written agreement that we use the land. And of course, many other residents in Great Barrington, particularly the people in the abutting neighborhood, utilize the land as well for recreation. And the point here is that we are looking, as a climbers organization, we are looking to catalyze the process. There seems to be some wheels spinning in the process. The Prudential Committee, the Water Department is in support theoretically and verbally of us purchasing the land. But there have been logistical hangups and wheels spinning for many, many years now. Decades,
Correct.
in fact. And so I'm simply here to discuss it formally on the record, bring your awareness to it and see where that leads. We're looking to potentially create some additional allies within the town of Great Barrington and town government and see where that might lead to facilitate our process.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Steve?
You're probably aware that the fire district is not part of town government.
I am,
Yes,
yes,
and therefore, we're all sympathetic.
yes.
Not sure how much we can do about it, unless you have some suggestions of what we can do.
Yeah, I can speak to that. It's just simply a theory that part of what's going on here with the wheels spinning is that they operate in some sort of fog of obscurity. They are independent and able to do their work outside of the oversight of town government. But there seems to be very little awareness of who they are and what they're doing. And so I'm just interested in bringing more people to the table. I think it's quite a no-brainer, to be blunt. And I think that we would have vast community support in conserving the land for recreation. And so it's just about bringing more bodies to the table.
Thank you.
Have you been-
Karen, Tom, hold on one second. I think Karen was first.
First of all, Jen.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure to meet you. I've known your mom for many years,
Oh,
and
thank you.
now I've finally are connecting dots.
Yeah.
I've been working quietly. We have done the walkthrough up there and everything else. And wheel spinning is a very polite form, man. I think,
We're on the record.
okay. I think what would be very important is that you need to build a coalition of everybody, Park and Rec, Select Board, neighborhood, about what you want to do, because it's one of the best bouldering spots in all of the East Coast. We
Exactly.
know that.
Yes.
And the piece of property, I think you need to you need to force a hand here, and I think that there needs to be some public relations done, and ask the question, why haven't we opened that up? I have been in support of that. Rob Schloneker is another guy you want to talk to on Gilmore Ave, who's been very interested in that, talking about bikes and some other stuff, so
Yes.
I applaud you and saying publicly, I will do anything I can do to help you, because I think that the pressure needs to be brought to bear, and I think that Steve, again, being a consummate politician, it does it sort of, obscurity is another good word you've used, but it sort of does whatever it wants to do whenever it wants. It's like a behemoth with no direction finder. So I think that more knowledge of it, I think that getting the Berkshire Edge to do an article about it, I think that getting the Eagle on it, I think that getting Parks and Rec, as it comes up every time, it's like, hey, what are we doing up there? Why don't we have access? This is really a good place to do this. And I think that that's what needs to start.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Tom?
Is BNRC involved with your efforts?
They can be historically, and by that I mean, roughly 10 years ago. We were on the same page in terms of, agreeing verbally to collaborate on the purchase of the land. We are certainly open to that as a Climbers Coalition. Financially, we don't need that. There was something that the Prudential Committee, they liked that, simply because BNRC has quite a presence and a reputation in the Berkshires.
Do you have a
You see
number?
them as being an ally for this?
I'm sorry, say that
Could
again?
you see them as being another supporter or an
Absolutely.
ally for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a number on that property at all? Has there ever been a number given?
For for purchasing?
Yeah,
Once upon a time, they're very evasive about it.
I understand. Can you give me a ballpark? Are we talking about $500,000 to $9 million, or, I mean, what's the ballpark?
Yeah, the ballpark is $500,000 or less is what we're looking for, to try to do. Because the land is essentially, unable to be developed, but
It would be a recreational space, would it not?
yes.
And does the quarry a part of it?
Say that again?
The quarry is a part of it as well?
It is, it's all connected,
Okay.
and there are some logistical issues there with the
Right.
annual maintenance.
Yeah.
The finances of that and exactly how we would manage that particular portion of the property.
Great.
So who would own the property?
Well, that's ideally, as far as I'm concerned, as I stand here, would be Western Massachusetts Climbers Coalition, or potentially us in collaboration with another entity like BNRC.
Thank you. And any other questions for Jed? This is,
I just have a quick, is the way you're using the property now would it change?
No, we would use it essentially the same way that we are. It would just be more properly and formally managed. We do have a management arrangement with them now. As a matter of fact, I just was up there as an arborist doing some formal trail work that the Prudential Committee signed off on with all of the insurance certificates, et cetera, et cetera.
thank you.
Sure they did.
Thank you so much
You
for,
donated your time.
for,
No, I got paid by the Climbers Coalition. It's,
Oh, okay.
which is, I have to just take a moment to say that is remarkable. After all of these years of volunteer effort.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Will you
Do we
keep
have
us
contact
posted?
information for this young man?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, yes, yeah. And Joe, if you wanna, I don't know if you need to touch base, but with Jed.
Well, you sound like you have all the contacts already over there for the water district.
Yeah, and, basically, it's been a great resource to talk to Peter Marks, because he's, the guy on the ground, actually.
He's over with, Buddy Howard.
Well, yeah, of course, formally interviewed.
Thank you. You're good. Great.
I
Excellent.
wanted to make a motion to say we support this.
We
Should
can,
not,
we-
I'm not saying we have to.
Yeah.
I'm looking around, smiling, super smiling. What do you think? Is it now's the time, or should we wait a while?
No, I have no problem with us supporting it. I don't know if it has any teeth, but it couldn't hurt.
Well, I think we
At
need to
least get it
start
on the
giving it
record.
some teeth.
Yeah.
Get it on the record.
I think we need to go on the record. I'd like to make a motion that the Park and Rec Commission supports the efforts of the Climbers Coalition of Western Mass and Mr. Shields and his group about what they would like to do with the East Mountain property.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
About, Joe?
I was just gonna say, maybe you can make it more general, because there seems to be some flexibility in really who owns it or how the structure now. But if the recognition made a motion and sent a letter, or put a letter on file or something that said, you support keeping that as, or acquiring that land in some manner to keep it as recreation, then that letter can be used not only by this
Okay.
person, but his team. Or
Let's amend the motion, shall we?
Would you?
Yes, I just did. Yeah, I like that better. Carolyn, call me, we'll figure it out. Yeah, no, I just,
Somebody want to try the amended motion? A
the Park and
motion,
Rec Commission supports the Climbers Coalition and their efforts to maintain East Mountain property as a recreational area for all to enjoy. Is that all right? Does that work for you, Jen?
That's amazing as far as I'm concerned.
Does that work for you, Mr. Abbott?
It does.
I'll have a
Second
second
the
on that,
amendment.
thank you. There we go.
all in favor of the motion as amended?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, we will work on getting that to you. Have to learn how to do that. Okay, really moving quickly. Julie, do you wanna?
Yes, I was at Stanley Park last weekend and I thought it was lovely. The first time I even noticed that it was there.
It's gorgeous.
And it is gorgeous, and I think to bring attention to it as a separate little entity of town that is usable, I propose that a split rail fence with a little entrance be installed. Because right now it just looks like just a grass, fall away from the roadway. I think a little slightly formal.
I would like to ask
Enclosure,
Mr. Aberdale
nice.
about that, because we just spent all that money and that woman who donated the money for that. I don't know if that's gonna go along with what she's looking for.
Yeah, I had some conversations with her. She donated $10,000.
Yeah.
I think we may have used under 2,000 of it just purchasing plants, and the buildings and grounds time came out of the budget. So there's $7,000 or $8,000 still there to use. I did mention to her at one point, maybe there'd be some type of walkway or some type of walk around the flower area, so it don't get patted down. She didn't seem too keen on it. But I think she's open to suggestions.
Have we thought about a canoe launch there?
The problem is that it's just not, it's not defined, the space is not defined at all, so it's almost you really have to look for it as a usable park. And I think just calling attention to a formal boundary doesn't have to be so rigid, like a.
Joe, would you feel comfortable reaching out to this person and sharing that this was brought up at a commission meeting and that we are interested in drawing positive attention to it and get some feedback about what that would be like? And can you
And
come
maybe
back to
get a
us with that?
Designer to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that or something else, or we have a walkway, or could there be a place to launch canoe, people gonna, I don't know, I don't know.
Does the park butt up against Cottage Street and the
Yes.
closed bridge?
Yes.
It does, so there's, right,
Yeah.
on that end, so there's sort of an access.
Is there?
Potential, if it goes up to the closed bridge, then you got that
Yeah,
Cottage Street, I mean, you have a potential access.
well, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, if you were thinking of canoe lot or whatever, other than just parking right on the street and going out and.
Because right now, there's just a sign, the Stanley Park, but I think if it was related to a fence,
Well,
more formal.
In a definitive area.
In a definitive area.
I'll reach out as the suggestions.
Good idea.
One thing that we're intending to use some of the funds for is to take down the lamp there and restore it.
Great.
And then put it back up and make sure it's functioning.
Thank you. That's excellent. Okay, I'm gonna just table this item that says subcommittee for volunteers. I think we have a lot of subcommittees going, and let's take it up next month, if that's okay. The background of that is just that there may be some work that can be done around the parks that takes some of the workload off of Joe's crew. Other organizations, the Lake Mansfield Alliance and others use volunteer crews to maintain different aspects of their areas. And so I think we should start to think about what that looks like. Let's take it up next month.
You could also use your work off for that.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd like a committee to discuss what that would look like in terms of forming the structure. We'll take it up next month. Joe, will you speak to us for a bit? You can start with the budget if you would, and also any updates to Parks Care and Maintenance.
About what?
Parks Care and Maintenance. Thank you.
Quickly, park care and maintenance, there's really nothing new with Memorial Field. We're closing out the contract with the gentleman or with the company. Basically done there other than our crews, staining the dugouts. Grove Street, is work in progress. We hope to install a small retaining wall around the northwest corner of the paved surface where it's kind of washing out there in preparation for expanding the multi-use court next year. Lake Mansfield, I don't really have anything new up there. Things are going up and running. There's still some plantings to be done there. Skate park, I think you guys mentioned, I think it's a good idea. We just need to dig into that a little bit and divide it up over the next 3 to 5 years somehow, get something done there. Pretty much parks care and maintenance budget, you know, budget season right around the corner. There were some projections in there for the skate park, Old Maids and Olympia Meadows for the soccer field. I think the skate park and Old Maids, we just set aside unless someone's got some real love for keeping something there. I just think it's gonna be a tough budget year again. One of the things that we're all kind of thinking alike is maintaining the facilities that we have. So before the meeting, I went into an old asset list of what's in every park. And I ran a quick spreadsheet on the items that were poor or in very poor condition and put some numbers to it. You know, like swing sets and things like that could be replaced. So that's around $100,000 pretty quickly. So if there's no objection, I'd like to try to make a CPA application up for that. To get some funding to, let's update some of the things we have out there.
Anybody have any questions or concerns with that? Yes, please.
Go.
Thank you so much. That's,
Question,
yes,
in reference to the issue with the slide.
Yes.
How are we gonna deal with that? I just, because I spoke to the mother and I was out there today and I looked at it. It seems fairly simple that we could easily put
So.
across these.
so just to fill the rest of the commission in, the town received an email that a mother's child fell off the slide at Diggle Park
Right.
here.
At the top step.
Oh, no, they did fall.
And I talked to her tonight.
Yeah.
So I was trying to pull that.
And so the question is, what does the town want to?
Was this child hurt?
Was this, Karen, was this child hurt?
No, they were two. And if you look at if you can look at this picture, it will.
That doesn't have it.
I have the pictures.
It's just this one and this one.
There, but if you look, where the kid fell was right here, okay? What my suggestion is that a railing be put, I'm so glad things stopped working.
Here.
Right here. They could easily weld a rail from here to here on either side of that would prevent that. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, they
Right
went through the handrail?
here, right here,
Yeah.
there's a space here.
Yeah,
So they fell from the step through this.
through the railing, yeah.
Yeah.
That
So,
doesn't meet building code, you can't, 6 inches.
The thing is, it's the
Wait,
first
why
time,
is-
A, we've had a
why
problem.
is it
Second of
right
all,
now?
it does meet code.
yes, Drew David, do you want to say that one more time?
What?
Why is the 2-year-old on the slide by himself?
I'd like to concur with that.
I was not gonna give that piece of it.
So I just, running the risk of saying something wrong, I'm curious what the limitations are about what our responsibility is if the equipment is being used
Inappropriate.
appropriately. I don't know what the recommendations are for this slide, but we know that the Giggle Park equipment is designed for kids 5 to 9, which means that a 2-year-old falling off a piece of equipment over there would not be considered like a failure of the equipment itself.
Correct.
And so I'm curious what the guidelines are for this slide. I don't object to a crossbar, but also I think there is still a lot of danger, a lot of risk associated with this. Falling off the edge of the slide itself, falling over the bar, and I want to make sure that we're not getting into a situation where we add something and then we have to add something else, and then we find that it needs a tunnel, and then, so what are, I mean, maybe this is a question for council, but like, what are our responsibilities in terms of making sure that this equipment is safe? This is not very old, so this is not like it has aged out of.
And the question is it our responsibility at every park to put age
Guidelines on.
guidelines, what age appropriate guidelines on it? It may in fact be our responsibility. We'll find out that we have to say this
That's
park.
definitely a town council question.
Yeah, it is. I'm not saying it is or isn't. You're right, Karen. It
So,
definitely is.
so Steve, what's the procedure?
it to-
Thank you so much. That would be.
Joe and I will take it to the town manager.
Thank you.
We'll
So
figure
what's
it
your
out.
thought about this? You went out and looked and, you know.
Well, the list of assets in our different parks, was done for a reason way back then, years ago, probably 8 or 10 years ago. And it was to determine what's meets requirements now and what doesn't meet requirements. And so there's been a lot of stuff updated. So I guess my thoughts on this, instead of you as a commission or me, or, trying to determine what meets specification or doesn't, or codes nowadays, there's people that do that. And when the consultant put this together, he could probably come out for short money and go to all our parks and say, get rid of it, keep it.
Amend it, whatever.
And then now we're working on solid ground and have something to work. Some things I'm sure get grandfathered. And then we turn around, we get that information and we tailor the conversation with town council. And if we have to put 3 to 5 on this, 7 to 8 on this, or whatever. We
do it, yeah.
Great. So it sounds like two-prong approach. Does that feel good, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel good about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That'd be
And it
great.
might be like adding something that's more appropriate for like a 2-year-old.
No, because.
No, I'm just saying that like in our future, when we think about parks, it might be worth it to put in a slide that's like very appropriate.
Well,
for a
one of the
small
things,
child.
you're right, one of the things we said early on was that even though they're neighborhood parks, they're not. So maybe one park, let's say Dewey, has more age appropriate for younger kids. That may not be in Giggle Park, that may not be in
Yeah,
Grove Street, so that we
everyone-
don't repeat everything
Yeah,
everywhere.
and everyone feels like there's a place. they
Yeah.
can-
I mean, all this stuff is purchased by approved, it's all approved equipment.
Right, we pay a high price for it and they meet all OSHA guidelines,
Right,
et cetera.
and,
But then
it has
they
to be
age
somewhat
out.
approved.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's a year old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's four and up, and your kids 2 on it. I'm not gonna tell them that.
No, but it may be our responsibility to put that sign up.
Signage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great. So that's my question for council. So thank you for taking that. Okay, parks, policies and procedures, maybe we could just take care of that next week, next month. Cool. This honoring subcommittee, do you want to say something about that?
Yes.
Yes, great.
We met. So Debbie, Paul and I met, we looked at stuff, we talked to Joe. Nothing's gonna be done till next spring. What we're thinking about doing is moving the plaque, the Memorial Field plaque from the flagpole thing, and also maybe adding another plaque that we would determine, and this is gonna happen over the winter, do we wanna put people and honor people who have worked on Memorial Field or have worked on youth baseball or whatever? So we're gonna come up with, that's kind of what the discussion, and we didn't come up with any answers at this point. And before we do anything, we will come back to you with our recommendations, but we would probably get a plaque that's similar size and put it on the other side of the backstop and not move the $60,000 of flagpole and everything else, leave that where it is. Anything else for Debbie? Is that it? Did I get it, Paul? Okay, good.
Okay,
That's it.
to be continued. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Silvana, do you want to say anything?
Well, just two things, about saying
Come
sorry.
up here, please, so Carolyn.
On behalf of the soccer team, you mentioned that nobody has said so, they're sorry.
Yeah.
This team is here because they wanna recuperate something that they lost without their intention. We don't wanna put fingers on anybody or point fingers to anybody, we know who were to blame, and they're not here, they were a spell of the team. That's one thing, and then as a citizen, I was talking to a group of teenagers and talking about the benches. They wonder why they have to put metal benches, because in the summer it's too hot and in winter it's too cold.
Thank you.
That's what the teenager says.
Just two things. One is, you can say you're sorry it happened without saying it's my fault.
I
So,
understand
so
that.
the other part of that is, this is the first time I heard anybody was expelled.
Yeah.
Those are the type of details that we were looking for. I'm glad you said it. Because,
Yeah.
because that's one of the things that I said is, so what was the ramifications of that happening? And if, you know, as we talk, maybe someone can say, so 3 people, I don't care who they are not playing anymore.
Right, and this is a good example, so we all got in the heat of the conversation and we were not talking about the little details. Same in the game, you know, they got heat up with the weather or whatever and it happened, so, yeah, my goal as a community liaison is to bring this community together and clarify and advocate for everybody.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's great that you're the community liaison. So what you are now, godmother of the soccer, I expect you to be at all these things so you can act as the, you know, to make sure if you're gonna be the liaison, then there's no communication issue or anything else,
Absolutely.
okay?
I
Cause
won't
that,
be in all the games, but yeah, I'll get the ball.
that's all right, you don't have to be at all the games, but just, I will tell you, if everything goes well, you're a hero. If things start to go south,
I understand.
you're gonna get the phone call.
Yeah.
Yo, community liaison, you know,
But I
1-800, where are
I
you?
do understand that.
Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't think anyone is here from Railroad Street this month. We will be hearing from them next month. Are there any citizens here that would like to contribute?
Hi, my name is Meredith. I wasn't gonna say much. I just wanna say as a mom of toddlers, if you're thinking about, or infants and a toddler, if you're thinking about new parks, I would agree with you that Giggle Park is not always the most helpful park to bring a small child. And it would be really great if Great Barrington could, if possible, recreate what's behind the Sheffield Library. I don't know if any of you have been there. It is an amazing place. Was able to take my 14-month-old up into the 2-year-old age. So I encourage you to visit their playgrounds behind and see that equipment specifically, and it's marked and specifically for that age range, and could one day be great for Great Barrington.
Thank
Have you
you.
been to Grove Street?
I have not yet.
I think, I would like to hear your opinion once you have traveled to Grove Street.
Okay, I'm on it.
All right, then
Thank you.
come back and let us
I'll
know.
be here next month.
Okay,
Thanks
great.
so much,
Thank you.
Meredith. Thank you. Anybody else, any other citizens want to say anything? Okay, commissioners, Davy, Perry.
I don't wanna beat a dead horse that I usually bring up, but I just wanna thank Joe and his group for a marvelous job that they're still doing. Now that they've done the fall cleanup of everything just looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, thanks.
Nothing.
Steve, Karen,
Ditto.
Julie?
I'd like to beat a dead horse. I totally agree about the benches. I've talked about the benches, the metal benches and my dislike for them. So I would like to bring up, some kind of plan next time for slowly replacing those black metal benches with.
Where are they?
Beautiful.
Where are the black metal ones?
Giggle Park, among other places.
Giggle Park too.
And
Well, Main Street isn't ours. We don't.
Yeah, we don't-
But in the other locations, at least because I think those old fashioned benches that were made are great.
yeah, we did take a picture or take a look up at Giggle Park, the metal benches, but also the mulch is low, so it's hard to even put your feet down there. We'll take another look.
The other thing is the benches that they're building, which are wood,
Yes.
okay? So instead of taking anything out, what you may wanna do is, why don't you come up with a hit list of where you would want wooden benches, and then you give that to Joe, and then they can build them over the winter.
Yes,
With a
but I think the
concrete
hit list also includes replacing some in very specific locations, and also another thing like Giggle Park, I am totally in favor of that as part of our 3-year plan to redo that, a big section of it. I've had a problem with that for ages, since I moved here.
Thank you.
Just one thing, and Joe, too, about the Housatonic Village Common, I noticed we've got soccer goals there in the field. I don't know where they showed up from, but,
Yeah.
I've been, you know, it's not, and I just wanna let the committee know that I've been told, I'm not sure who the teacher is, but one of the teachers from the schools is organizing or just having pickup soccer for youngsters there on Saturday morning, so, you know, no, it's just a community thing, you know, come down there, you know, 10-year-olds and go and kicking the ball around. I think it's a great use of our park. It's nice to see that happen.
There you go.
Thank you. That's great. Awesome. Bill?
I'd just like to really thank you guys for coming out, with the soccer. You know, I know that there was probably miscommunication at the beginning of when all this happened. And we support this. And we just I think we have some growing pains happening here, and we want to support that happens. You know, and it happens in a safe way that everybody can be happy and just enjoying soccer. And I'd like to thank Jed for the efforts that you are putting forth with, you know, that area. If that gets opened up, it'll and gets promoted, because that's some of the best bouldering in the world. Literally in the world. People come from all over the world to boulder over there. So if we can get that going and promote it, it'll bring more tourists to Great Barrington.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Paul? Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for a long, very good meeting. I'll take a motion.
Motion adjourned.